Hey everyone, welcome to the MEAP Squad.
Hello guys, and welcome to a MEAP Squad review video. I'm Matt.
I'm Erica.
I'm Aiden.
And I'm Pat.
And today we're going to be taking a look at the Shipwreck Arcana. So when we looked at this, guys, we gave it an overall score somewhere around 7. I was a 6.7, Erica was 6.7, Aiden you had a 7.1, and Pat you were at a 7. So
Yeah, pretty even right across the board.
yeah, all in all, I'm pretty happy to play this game pretty much any time. It's for those of you that don't know, it's a cooperative deduction game. It's a little bit unique in the way that it does it, where you're all kind of working together to figure out what the main character does.
I think it's a great game for bringing people together because if you're playing with more than 2 people, then everyone's coming together to try to work together or work through what the active player's thought process is and why they did a certain thing the way they did if they had more than one choice. It's great for all ages, right? Assuming you can do some simple arithmetic, which might turn some people off, but otherwise,
I also find it a good game if you have people coming in and out of the game, just because it's so easy to add or remove players on the fly.
Yeah.
And with the length of the game being quite a bit on the shorter side, I thought it worked very well just as a filler game. Throwing it in at the start of a gaming session while maybe you're waiting to play something a little longer. People don't necessarily need to be committed to seeing it through all stages of this. If you want to come in, solve a few puzzles, and then tag out, you're still going to have fun.
Yeah, and I think it's a relatively easy game to learn as well. Like, obviously it gets a little bit hard to really figure out what the other guy was thinking when he's placing his fates down, but generally all you're doing on your turn is you're looking at 2 tiles and you're putting one down. So it's really easy to learn, right? As far as the aesthetics of the game go, we all gave it an 8 across the board for aesthetics. I think it's a really pretty game.
The cards themselves are nice quality and very nice visually as well. The cards are concise, and the majority of them are very clear in what they do. There's definitely a couple that you have to read more than once to make sure that you're playing it the right way. But I think those are mostly the Kickstarter exclusive ones.
A lot of the ones that came as the stretch goals to it, they're a little bit more complicated. It feels like they tried to add in a few new, more challenging things for the players with the Kickstarter ones.
If you're just going to the store and picking it up, then it's super.
And it's definitely going to catch your eye at the store too. I mean, every single one of these cards is really pretty to look at. I would take any one of these as a poster for my room.
Yeah, they definitely match the style of tarot cards. Like both the size of the card and kind of the style of it. Right?
And beyond that, I also like just the pieces themselves. They're actual wood pieces rather than cardboard or anything like that.
It really helps the game. Plus, it comes with this pretty sweet bag for keeping all of the black fate in that you're going to be digging out of through the game, which is a really nice touch, right? A nice cloth bag for it.
It is a thoughtful addition because the bag is part of the game too when you're drawing out of it. It's nice to be interacting with something that feels nice and holding it every single turn.
Yeah. As far as replayability goes on this, again, we're all rating this around 6s through 8. My point on the replayability is there's a bunch of different fate cards that you're going to have. You're not always going to have the same ones. And so every time you play the game, you have different requirements that you got to look at when you're placing your fates. So it really, like, the puzzle of the game changes every time. So you can't just figure out this one puzzle and every time you play the game it's always going to be the same, right?
Yeah.
You really have to work with the information that you've got and even the information that you don't have.
But also playing with different people, right? Not everyone's going to think the same. Not everyone's going to pick up on these things the same, which is good and bad, right? Like, if you play this game 10 times with the same person, you're pretty much going to go around the track 3 times before you use any points.
Yeah.
But if you play one game with one person and then one game with another person, you're going to have to start from scratch basically each time and trying to figure out that person's thought process. So.
But it really is nice to have so much variety, I think, with the cards, and if you swap out any one of them, it becomes a completely different puzzle. So you, in essence, have, well, I'm not good with math, but we do 1,000 different logic puzzles.
Over 9,000!
Over 9,000 logic puzzles!
back from 2009.
So what were some of the things that you guys struggled with the game? Like it can't all be good, right? Like what are some of the things that might turn some players off in your guys' opinion?
One thing I noticed about this, and I think it's sort of a unique piece of feedback I have for this game, with it being a logical deduction game, is when you're trying to solve the puzzles, you might end up saying, well, this person probably would have made this deduction, or if I were them, I should have made this deduction. And it's a great way to solve these deductions. But if that person didn't actually make that deduction, or if it didn't occur to them, and I say this because it's happened to me, where they could say, well, Aiden would have thought this, and I didn't think that, I'm not equipped to think that. It can put you on the spot a little bit. It's not necessarily a bad thing, it's all good fun. It's not going to ruin the game if they make the wrong guess because of that, but it's just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, sometimes it is. The active player has two decisions, and one is a little bit more logical than the other, but they don't see that, and then they choose the other one. So the group might see, oh, well, they didn't do that one, so obviously it's this, and then they might feel bad that, oh, I didn't think of that.
That's any co-op.
That's any co-op game, yeah.
Some of the cards are just a bit weaker. I find in some of them, like I would take them right out of the deck before playing.
Yeah, things like the delay and like the draw, which they don't really give you information on the fate being played, but it's a place that you can kind of dump a fate once in a while, but you're now filling up cards and you're pushing more towards the fating mechanic, but not actually.
I guess that adds a bit of difficulty to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Having these cards that you have to play on that give you no information at all.
And I don't think the gameplay is going to be significantly altered if you did just want to remove one
Oh,
or
of
two
course.
cards.
We've done it all the time. Like, especially if you're playing with a new player, you get to one of those cards that you know is a little challenging. You just take it out, right? It's super easy. You always know what the next card is going to be. You just take it off the top of the deck. Any closing thoughts, you guys? Let's go from the P back to the M.
Great game. Great for just short periods of time. I wouldn't want to do a night of just this game. It just doesn't have the meat. But great for just as people are showing up. As I said, it's easy for people to hop into or jump out of. And I personally would just play rounds of this, almost ignoring the track.
Ignore the points completely. Just,
keep her
going.
And just keep her going for great little logic puzzles.
Okay.
Yeah, the way the focus is set up on this game with logic puzzles, to me that's a brand of game I'm less familiar with. I don't know if there's a lot of games that are centered around the same component. Maybe there are. But I thought it was nice, like Pat said, to have in a short space of time a bunch of different logic puzzles to solve. And it really does fit in quite nicely at the start of a longer gaming evening, and the ability to just hop in and hop out to no detriment to the overall game. I don't think anyone will be too upset if they don't make it quite to the end. It's really nice. Whereas some other games, if I need to jump out early, you feel like you're
letting people down or something.
Yeah, letting people down. But this you can just carry on and. Yeah, everyone's going to have fun with it, I think.
Yeah, basically what you guys have said, great filler game. It's also very portable. It's a very small box, right? It's basically the size of the cards, and the bag is what takes up the most room. I brought this to work and played it on a lunch break, right? You got 20 minutes. You pull this out, you play a couple rounds. One thing that didn't come up was what we call them superpowers. The abilities on the back of the cards is really nice because it gives you a little bit of a help sometimes, but you use them wisely because.
Yeah, you start fading cards, and now you actually get the superpower, so that you can kind of mitigate the guessing in the game.
Yeah, and if you're down to a 50-50, you're like, oh well, we'll use this and eliminate one, and then you know it's the other. So that is a really nice way to balance the game, I found. So it's not purely deduction and purely logic. Got a little bit of a helping hand. I do enjoy the game. I've played it more than once, and I will continue to play it throughout the game.
Yeah, for sure. Me personally, I love the way the game looks. It feels great. It's a nice little co-op game, and I love co-op games, so this one rates high for me because it's got that replayability. It has an interesting, unique kind of gameplay to it, which I really like about this game. The powers are great, the fading mechanic, and then you get to those points where it's like, well, I've got a 50-50 chance, and I just have to guess, right? And it's like I'm either going to lose 1 point, gain 1 point, or lose 3, but I'm going to take that risk every time, and the feeling of taking that risk makes the game stay challenging, no matter how many times you play it. But yeah, so that was a MEAP Squad review of the Shipwreck Arcana. I'm Matt.
I'm Erica.
I'm Aiden.
I'm Pat.
And hope you guys have a good night.
You too.
Welcome to the MEAP Squad. I'm Matt here. Boom, boom, boom. Introduce all of our people. And today we're going to do a review of...
Yeah, we don't actually want last names on here. I'm just in. Can we just do Twitter tags that we don't actually have?
I'm Ozai the Bard.
Don't forget to mention I have a law degree. I paid good money for it.
Yeah, it's been recording for